Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we're doing a really interesting deck profile. This is a deck that I just saw a profile for this weekend. A lot of really interesting lists coming out of the multiple YCSs that were going on. Unfortunately, I don't believe this list was able to get a top, but apparently he performed pretty well. He was on a feature match, and the deck is just pretty much the most interesting deck I've seen in a long while. And just showing you the top of these should hopefully give you a little bit of an idea of what we're in store for here. But it is a 60 card pile deck making use of multiple different engines. They connect to each other really well, and just a ton of really good innovation here. So shout out to the guy who did it. I don't remember his name, but his video, the original video is put up on Lithium's channel, so I will link that video in the description below if you want to check out his initial showcase of the deck. This will just be my version of the deck. I changed very small things, like I changed something in the extra deck, and I changed like some small stuff in the main deck. And I've been looking at some other stuff to potentially wiggle around as well, but haven't gone through on that. So I'm going to show you everything in the deck. This is just big 60 card engine pile. And then at the end, I'll try and show you the 1 card combo, or I guess 1.5 card combo. That's pretty dang spicy. So let's just start off here. Starting off for the, I guess, just main card in the deck is Formud Skipper. He is the best starter in the deck. He is 1 card, pretty crazy combo by himself, thanks to a couple of other generic engines that are able to abuse him. Triple Parallel Exceed pairs with this as well. This is actually kind of like a rank 4 spam deck. Your end board isn't full of rank 4s, but rank 4s get you to the end board you want. So that's what's so generic about this, is that making rank 4s like connects you to the other engines, which is very cool. So Parallel Exceed, obviously great for that. It's your search target off of Skipper. And yeah, it just facilitates those rank 4 plays. And then Skipper's actually always been really good. It just, we needed to find like the right way, because I remember people used to mess around with him in like Crusadia decks, but he was too fragile. Like he got punished by an imperm or something. So we just needed a deck where he felt worth it and not too easily punished. From there, we show off the MathMech engine. Triple copies of Circular, 2 Diameter, 1 Nabla, 1 Sigma, and then obviously Equation and Superfactorial. This is nothing too crazy, I don't think. Like the Superfactorial is your payoff. Equation is a good extender that can come up. Sometimes it just ends up being follow-up, but can definitely come up. This lineup's pretty interesting. So you play the Sigma for the standard MathMech play. If you just open Circular, or, depending on the hand, you have to sign at Mining for Circular or whatever, you want Sigma because Sigma is the one that makes Circular a like 1 card play. Whereas the other ones don't do that. You would need an extender to make the other ones live. From there, Diameter is great. The second one is for follow-up. You'd rather be getting like a second Diameter over anything else, but also it's just another name to be able to send if you have to go through a second Circular later on. And then Nabla. So Nabla is kind of the key here. You'll see in the combo, this card's very important to be able to pretty much make it so that just making a rank 4 generically allows you to go like set up the entire MathMech engine just by playing Nabla. So I think that's a pretty worth it card. Plus it's a tuner, so keep that in mind as well when we're looking at the combo lines that you'll see in the combo as well. But yeah, MathMech engine, I still wonder if it ever could be worth to play at least 1 copy of the extender guys, because those guys are just generic decent level 4s that just jump on the board with like no restrictions. So even for a deck like this that just kind of wants to make rank 4s anyway, those could be actually pretty decent, but we'll see. From there, moving forward into the next engine, Scareclaw. Oddly enough, this engine is just so generically abusable, and with Formud Skipper being able to reveal Lightheart, Scareclaw Lightheart, he allows you to get into this engine. So this is one of the only cards I'm missing. I think I'm missing this, and I'm missing like 2 copies of another 3 of. This is just the field spell, so you can search it off of Lightheart to connect to Reichard, and then continue plussing a bunch. This is just a plussing engine, pretty much. It's just going to get you multiple extra bodies on the field, and they're going to allow you to spam into, the end board pieces you want. So these are all really good. Nothing too crazy, though. I mean, I thought about the idea of playing a Twin Saw. That way you could, just part of your end board could be like summon Reichard, search Twin Saw, like set Twin Saw pass. Or maybe you even try and go into Tryheart, the Link 3, if you wanted to play it. But that didn't seem like overall, fully necessary. But we could mess around with that. That's another, interesting piece to the deck that we could look at for sure. And then from there, so those are the three like main engines. From here, we just move to like good level 4 spammy packages. So we actually play a hero package where it's a 3 hero lives plus 2 Stratos. Just being able to go hero lives for Stratos, Stratos search a second Stratos, and then you can normal that Stratos. So it's 1 card rank 4. It does take your normal, but at the very least, we also have multiple cards that like pitch a card from hand or send manage a monster face down, like Small World. So that gives us an easy way to make use of the extra Stratos in hand, even if we don't want to normal it, because we have something like Formud in hand. Is pretty cool. So I am missing the other 2 copies of Hero Lives. Not sure why I don't have those, but yeah, pretty cool. This one's fine. It's not as flexible, but I understand the power. Like, it's a +1. I feel like there could be better like level 4 spammy packages over, the hero one, but it is what it is. From there, you move to this one. This one's really interesting because I've always looked at Dinotherium like this card will come up just because it's such a free extender as long as you play it right. He specials from hand, and if there are any level 4s in graveyards, your opponent can reborn one of them, so that's the downside, but obviously you would just try to use him when there are no like good 4s at least for your opponent to take advantage of. And then this card's interesting. We do play Rhoda in the deck just because we have, I think, multiple different warriors that could be good to search off Rhoda. And he literally pitches himself to add, or he banishes himself to add a Wind Beast. So he literally just adds Dinotherium. It just allows 2 more copies of cards that get us access to Dinotherium because he is one of the most flexible free extenders in the deck. So I actually like him quite a bit. I like him more than the hero, even though the hero package is more powerful. Dinotherium is more consistent overall. And the last extender we play is Triple Phantom Knights of Shade Brigandine. Just a good level 4. Nothing too crazy there. There's also a card in the extra deck, the Spicy card, I guess you could say, that I switched for one of the cards in the original extra deck. This card makes it way, way better. So, pretty cool card. Just a simple 4 that jumps on the field. Nothing crazy. And that pretty much sums it up for the actual like engine cards. Although, to be fair, monster-wise, we do finish with Brothers and Therian King Regulus. If you're taking advantage of a rank 4 spam deck, one of the best things to be able to take advantage of from recent reveals is the Spring-In / Captain Sargus line. So being able to just set up an Omni Negate early in your turn just by going like summon a 4, overlay, and pretty much set up an Omni Negate like on your 5th summon is really important. Just beats Nib. This is a deck that doesn't appreciate Nib too much. Definitely one of the bigger weaknesses, but I'm not going to say it can't play around Nib at all. It just, you just have to have stuff like this available in the deck. So the biggest bummer for me is that the deck doesn't really play any machines aside from the Brothers. So we don't inherently set up a machine in Grave. So if we draw Regulus or, can just go into that line whenever. If we aren't able to get Brothers in Grave, it can be pretty awkward there. So like, it is what it is, but like just something to keep in mind for sure. All right, into the spells. We have a bunch of like consistency spell cards here. Triple Signet Mining. This grabs us any of the Math Mech cards. This grabs us Formud Skipper. Those are really the main ones because like if you don't have one, you're going for the other pretty much. Triple Small World. This can almost grab anything in your deck. Just I would say maybe before you start playing this deck, do a run through of your deck and try and just practice connecting cards to the other just to see what's searching what the easiest, so that way you're not taking too long when you're actually in a match. Piri Rice Map. This card just searches Formud Skipper. Actually, it doesn't just search Formud Skipper. Technically, it can also search Ash Blossom. Or it can also search what's his name? Yeah, Scareclaw Acro. And Acro actually doesn't activate, so he can still extend himself onto the field under the restriction of Piri Rice Map, which is cool. Then Rhoda. This can search, I believe, Scareclaw Reichheart, or the Shield Bearer that searches Dinotherium, or Elemental Hero Stratos, which can just get you another Stratos, so it is just a +1. So a couple different cool utility searches off of Rhoda. And then 1-for-1, this is just summoning Formud Skipper from the deck, pretty much. So yeah, a lot of consistency cards. As you can see, it's like literally all like everything here except for Rhoda, 10 of these cards can get you to just 4-month skipper. So you have just a ton of ways to get to 4-month skipper. They don't have to. That's what I love, is there's dual purpose here. Like 1-for-1 kind of and Piri Rice Map almost always are getting 4-month skipper, but like Small World and Sign Up Mining can just get you something else to help you extend through interruption, which is really cool. So like that a lot. And then we finish up with hand traps, because 60 card deck, we have to have a good amount of defensive cards. I almost want to play a Kaiju in the main deck just because we have Small World, you know, and because of that, it makes me want to have something like that, you know, it's just a one-off, but like if you open Small World, it's one of those things, if your opponent's going to let the Small World resolve, I want to be able to punish them for it. So being able to find one of those, you know, non-respondable cards to handle the best interruption on your opponent's board could be really huge and helping you break a board. But I don't know, it's interesting. From there, Gamma. This is the most important hand trap in the extra. This is part of the end board. We'll show you that in the combo. Triple copies of Ash Blossom, triple Veiler. Obviously, these things can obviously be wiggled around with to your preference, depending on the format. 2 Droll, 2 Ghost Spell, 2 Ogre. Just fine. These are cards I like. I know Ogre's a little divisive right now. But I think it's actually not bad, especially in formats where nobody expects it. It gets better and better. So yeah, there's 15 hand traps there, plus the driver. So just, I would look for 15 hand traps if you could, or defensive cards in general. That seems like a decent number for a 60 card deck, and then go from there. Also, I love that all of these hand traps, aside from Gamma, can be normal summoned into Almirage to just get the ball rolling with like a Parallel Exceed in an awkward hand. So there you go. But yeah, that's it for the main deck. 60 cards there. Running through the extra deck real quick. Scareclaw Lightheart, you make this with Skipper, or technically if you just hard draw any of the Scareclaw guys. Almirage, kind of same thing. If you just have to use a different monster to just make a link for like Parallel Exceed or something, that can come up. 1 Lambda, very important piece of the deck for sure. Splash Mage, Update Jammer, Heat Soul, Transcode. This is all just kind of how you kill a lot of the times. If you go turn 1 and you make a board and your opponent is like able to mostly break it, your follow play is usually just go into an access code line and try to kill them. So yeah, and also like in very specific hands, I find it doesn't come up all the time. Heat Soul can come up, but doesn't that often. He's probably the next most cuttable card. You could just play a simple line into an access code OTK and just not even worry about Heat Soul. Play another rank 4 or something for utility if you wanted. Yeah, that's it for the links. For Exceeds, Time Thief Redoer. This is the really cool card that the original list was not playing, that I think is pretty cool. It's pretty easy to make, and with Lambda, this triggers it. So that's really cool to get Gamma. 2 Alan Bershin. This is really good for, you know, just the MathMech engine. Just making this actually lets you set up the entire MathMech engine, which is really cool because this is generic. Laplacian's the payoff. It's ripping. It's like trishing your opponent. It's really strong. Then Merrymaker Sargus. This package, very important as well. The other reason I really like Redoer, because Redoer pairs really well with this, is also because the fact that Redoer can just detach at any point in a turn is able to trigger Sargus to either pop or bounce a monster. So that's really nice. And the last one is Zeus. You gotta play. I mean, look at all the Exceeds. You gotta play Zeus. So going second, I like it. It's a deck that can either go Zeus or Access Code, or even both. Potentially you go, you know, Zeus first to bait the most important interruption, and then if you can just wiggle into an Access Code, you're cooking. That could be insane. And then Omega is the last card here. So not only can we make rank 4s, but a couple of the MathMech guys are tuners. There are lines where you just make this to hand rip a card, while also, you know, triggering your Lambda to search a card on end phase for Gamma. It's really crazy. So yeah, that's it for the main and extra. Let's do a quick combo. The combo is just going to be 4-month skipper, and I think the best way to do is just any level 4 as well. Any level 4 extender. Let's just make it the most simple one. I think Dimethyrium is probably the most simple one here. All right, so you're going to start with it by normal summoning 4-month skipper. Also keep in mind, like I showed you, we have like 10 cards to search this plus itself. So there's like 13 copies of this in the deck. You're going to normal it. You're going to use this effect on field, revealing Lightheart. Keep in mind, if you do get Veilered or Impermed here, you'll just make Almirage and it'll still trigger Skipper. It's fine. You're not going to have as crazy a turn, but it plays through that pretty well inherently, with not needing any extenders, which is cool. So from here, actually I think you would need one extender. We're going to link off though for the Lightheart. We're going to use Lightheart's effect and form on Skipper. Usually I would use Skipper to chain block Lightheart just because he's on field. Like stuff like Gamma is pretty scary. So we'll go ahead and we'll grab a Paraloak Seed and we will grab our field spell. We'll use Reichphobia. We will search ourselves the Scareclaw Reichheart. From here, we'll special Reichheart in the same column as Lightheart. We'll use Reichheart's effect to search. Grab our Arrival. I don't know how good the view is on this. It's probably not great, but we're trying. Hold on. Let's get this up here. I want you guys to be able to see as much as we can. So here's our hand right now. Yeah, I'll try and keep the hand visible there. Before we do anything else, before we put a 4 engrave, just summon Dinotherium. That way there's no 4 engrave for your opponent to take advantage of. So we'll just special him. And then from here, I believe we want to... I think we just want to do this immediately, right? No, we don't. Yeah, it's fine. We'll overlay these immediately for get into these guys. And I know because of this line, because you have to go through Lightheart and stuff, we're not going to be able to get the Regulus negate set up before nib, but at least it forces the nib. So if they're going to nib, they're going to nib here. We've got Arrival plus Exceed in hand. Like we have ways to like play through this already. And so it's like not the hugest of deals, but it's annoying regardless. So but like it is what it is. These are going to bait the nib really early, force them to use it, so that way you can kind of keep playing from there. So we'll summon Merrymaker, we'll dump the Springen's Brothers. From there, we'll overlay immediately into Champion Sargus. We'll use Sargus to search the Regulus, which I should have pulled out immediately, but I did not. We'll grab Regulus, and we'll just fire the Regulus down. Right, we'll equip that. We'll move these down here and just get them kind of off to the side. So we have a negate up at this point. If they didn't nib us there, we now have a negate, which is cool. So now what we do is we... Oh, wait, I actually didn't want to do it that way. Oh, no, I messed it up. I did mess it up. God damn it. I knew I was going to do this. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna backtrack just a little bit. So let's go back to the point where we had these on field. So the problem here is that we need to get Scareclaw engraved now. So you actually want to make Lambda first, triggering Parallel Exceed, and then Parallel for another Parallel. Because those need to go into your Sargus play. Because we need to get, like if you do it the other way, you never get Reichheart engraved for like the revival effect. So that's not great. So from here, we'll do the same thing, but like just using Parallel Exceed for the, dumping Brothers and then adding Regulus, and then we'll equip this way. There we go. Sorry about that. I'm, still getting used to the deck because it's still pretty new to me. But yeah, we're going to do that. And then we just finish up, I think, by doing like the part that's the coolest to me is that we can just go into the MathMech engine now. We're going to reborn the Reichheart with Arrival, which is sweet. We're now going to overlay these two guys for MathMech Alan Bershin. Boom. We're going to use Alan Bershin effect, detaching 2 to add a monster. Or add any card, technically. We'll grab Circular. And here's a really cool, interesting thing. This is why you want to make Sargus first. Because a material was attached from him, we can actually use his effect. I believe he attaches on this too. Well, actually, he doesn't detach at all. So he can bounce or destroy any card on the field. So we're actually going to bounce the Scareclaw field spell for follow-up next turn. So you just get a free card back to your hand, which is great. That'll plus us on the next turn. So we're going to go Circular here. Circular. And when we're going to use Circular, sending Nabla. We're going to use Alan Bershin, tributing himself to reborn the Nabla from grave. Then we're going to use Nabla on field, tributing itself to summon MathMech Diameter. MathMech Diameter is going to trigger, targeting Nabla in grave to reborn. And now we're in a pretty dang good position. I do think there's a little bit of an awkward thing, though, here that I want to get all three of these guys off the board to get them all engraved. Oh, I'm sorry. On this, we're going to use a Circular's Effect to search. When, I guess it could have been Diameter or Nameless Summon, because we're going to get Super Factorial to hand. And then from here, why am I not remembering what the line was here? Like, I know... This is so weird. I feel like I'm one card off. What the heck? So like normally, I guess it's fine. Yeah, that's so weird. I mean, so normally you want to just like make Omega here. Do we even Reborn Nabla? Maybe we just don't even Reborn Nabla here. Yeah, I guess we just leave Nabla. Just summon Diameter, don't even Reborn the Nabla. Because like you rather just have it engraved. So then from here, we'll take these two guys and we'll actually Synchro into Omega. There's actually no restriction here if you're using these guys, because Sigma is actually the main one that restricts you. Just keep in mind, Circular says you can only attack with one monster that turn. So, you know, keep that in mind. We're going to make Omega. We're going to banish Omega to rip a card out of the opponent's hand. And then we're going to trigger Lambda. So we're going to rip one. We're going to go Lambda. We're going to set the Super Factorial here. We still have the Reich Heart in hand. And then on end phase, Lambda is going to search us Gamma. So for pretty much what we have here is we have Super Factorial, which we also have Diameter engraved. So that is a Laplation with an Omni Negate, plus we're going to do the rip. So we've already ripped one and then the second card out of their hands, plus another one or two cards from their field. Paired with an Omni Negate and King Regulus. When we deep detach for Laplation, Sargus is going to be able to pop or bounce another card as well. Plus we have the Gamma Negate in hand. So kind of a lot going on there. Sorry, the ending's a little weird. Like the deck gets a little awkward at times. It's important to keep in mind as well, if you have any other, this was Format Skipper plus a level 4. If you had any other level 4 extender, you would have been able to go Omega plus Redoer, and then you just also have Redoer in rotation as well, which is really cool because it means you grind better. It's harder for them to like actually clear away all your resources. Even if they clear everything else, even if they break your whole board, you get Redoer back on your next turn, and he can push for a Zeus line like straight into them to like try and threaten them that way, which is really cool. So the deck's really hard to handle if it goes all the way off. I like that you can just play through stuff, get 2 4s on the field, go through the Mathmech engine, and like still get to stuff, which is really cool. So the deck's just, it's such an interesting deck. All these engines and like just the ability to make rank 4s, like getting you into multiple different avenues, just so cool. I think it blends pretty well. I've found that a lot of hands, yes, cards are technically bricks, but like most of the time they work out, especially when you have stuff like Signet Mining that discards any card, 1-for-1 sending a monster that that's not optimal in hand, or Small World, like getting rid of a monster. The deck can kind of fix hands itself, or at least make a use of cards regardless, which I like a lot. So yeah, really cool deck. Definitely try it out. Maybe there's some tweaks and adjustments to make. Maybe there's other level 4 engines to be able to splash in here to kind of, supplement some of the ones that just feel okay to me. But yeah, really, 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 really cool deck. But that's it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, let me know your thoughts down below. I will see you in the next video. Subscribe if you haven't. Peace.